Oh, wow.
I overslept. I had gotten a new phone, and so I was setting it up with the alarm. I didn't save the alarm.
Morning, everybody. Hope people who are online can hear us. This is the November 6th meeting of the Bicycle, Pedestrian and Traffic Safety Committee. I will begin with a call to order. So I call the meeting to order and begin with our roll call. Ed Holland as chair.
Angela Hay.
Caroline Vertonghen.
Okay, thank you. We have a quorum. We have two members absent. That is Kevin Welsh and Pat Bannon, who are both traveling. I don't know if they will be able to sign in and join us by Zoom.
Do we have a remote monitor there?
I don't know. Yeah, it's because the main monitor, this monitor is working, but
Oh, well, that's all right.
the main
Just tilt it
system
a little
isn't.
bit so we can see
Yeah.
it. That's good.
I don't see any other online participants at the moment. Let's begin. Item 2 is our standing item for oral communications for items not on the agenda. Does anyone have anything to bring to the committee's attention? I don't see any hands raised online. I think everybody probably nursing a hangover this morning of some variety. So with as little said on that subject as possible, let's move on. Item 3 is our approval of the minutes from the October 2nd meeting. I believe that those meetings are a true and accurate account of the meeting, and I move to approve them.
Second.
I have to abstain because I didn't watch it on
Oh, you haven't
YouTube.
said-
So
Okay. I think we have 2 in favor. We take a vote.
I'll
Aye,
abstain.
in favor, aye, and committee member Hay is abstaining, so motion carried. Thank you, Caroline. I do not see whether Patrick Taylor is online. Concerned that we have a technical problem. We're not seeing everything. Few participants. No, we've got the schoolhouse and us. That's the only participants in the meeting. So I can't say terribly much about the sheriff's report, although
You are
Caroline, you.
muted. Oh,
that
haven't
one's
got
muted,
that.
this
Okay,
one
that's
isn't,
all right.
so, yeah. Caroline, you have a comment?
Well, when we look at the sheriff's report, I think town council should consider if one officer can do all the work. I know they have been in negotiation with the sheriff. And I know that our finance director is also engaged in it.
I can speak a little to that as also acting assistant sheriff commissioner. Those openings have begun, but the wheels are not really turned particularly far around just yet. So that's still a work in progress, with more to come, I expect.
So you guys are involved?
Kevin and I are both involved, as well as finance committee. And we have a council. Do we have a council member assigned to that? I forget. I know we. Mhm. Right. But that's separate from the any change or renegotiation of a sheriff's contract. So, but I know in the background, we're also trying to reestablish links with the new police captain, which is a separate matter, and we have done that. So that. Good. Thank you, Barry.
Do you need a microphone, Mary?
Well, good morning, Kevin. I see you've managed to join us online. Thank you.
Yeah, good morning, Ned.
The minutes or my report on this meeting might be a good time to bring that up and ask, and then figure out how to get an official appointment for somebody for next year.
As a spearhead for the sheriff's contract.
Yeah, for the
business.
sheriff's
Yeah.
contract.
So it's a little bit out of the scope of this meeting, but because we overlap so much, I brought it up here.
Yeah.
On those
Okay,
things.
thank
Because-
you.
Because we have such close contact also with the general police operations as far as they go.
Right. Certainly the closest we have in town.
I think so, yeah.
Great.
Okay, thank you. We did receive citations
Mhm.
on time from Patrick, so thank you. I know you're there somewhere, Patrick. Thank you for that. They've been responsive and helpful. There's been a bit of a change of MO for that because town center used to reach out to everybody involved in the BPTS meeting. And so now I'm doing that work as chair and mostly managing to get my act together. So I hope that's satisfactory to everybody.
I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you. That's all I have. If there are any requests for sheriff's office attention pertaining to traffic and public safety in town, but now is a good time to bring those up.
Well, as usual, people are speeding up and down Alpine Road and very few citations. I mean, I remember when I joined the bike committee, we used to have about 70 citations a month, and it's really gone down. I did see a sheriff's office stopping a bicyclist the other day, presumably for going through the stop sign.
I think so. I heard some activity at weekend. But this morning I came through Priory Road crosswalk, saw two children on bikes waiting to cross, stopped for them, and another car just blasted through. So we are not getting the observance of crosswalks that we know we've seen this problem a lot, and some backup from the police department would help very much.
And coming here, I saw an electric bike coming out of Corte Madera, diagonally crossing Portola Road, like we've
Mhm.
never seen, avoiding the crosswalk. Then another parent with a young child on bike, of course, shows the right example and uses the crosswalk. But it's drivers like myself who know where to watch out, and I stopped and put my blinkers, my alert signal on, so the cars behind me knew what was going on because they cannot see what's happening in front.
No, that's right.
So we need to work on that. And I constantly see Woodside Priory. I will bring it up at the planning commission, because it's all the projects. There's no cumulative report on what all these individual projects have done to our two roads, Alpine and Portola Road, and something needs to be done. Stanford has a lot of money, so if they're not helping us with traffic mitigation.
Okay,
then-
is the RMD done? Is it completely finished?
I'm still getting that loaded up, just take a.
Oh, okay.
Plan, is that right?
Yeah, and then I had some money transferred to the Empower or whatever it is.
Hi, Kevin, could you mute for us, please? Oh, thank you. You have beat me to it. Thank you very much. If there's nothing further for the regarding the sheriff's report, hopefully we don't have Sergeant Taylor with us today. I will move on to our larger item 5, which would be a public works update. Item A would be what progress there has been on crosswalk updates and the timetable for their completion.
I
and any
thought we had to
budget
get it
information.
implemented by November, and I thought we would lose the grant. if
I
we
thought
didn't
the
get-
same thing. I heard briefly when I talked to the previous town manager that there had been, this is only word of mouth, some mitigation to avoid losing the grant, but I don't know the status of that. But I have made contact with the interim engineer who had just started in the middle of August, sorry, in the middle of October. Is that correct, Mary? I've forgotten his name again. Our new interim engineer, town engineer. He's still, okay.
So it's not decided.
I don't think nothing is decided and nothing has been done so far. Now he's starting afresh with a. Well, as a permanent replacement. I'm sorry, is
In flux.
influx, yes, okay. That doesn't bode well for managing a larger scale project. Or even a medium scale thing like this, which takes some coordination, it'll take purchasing. There's equipment to be purchased. Contractor work to be organized. And the other public works things to be scheduled, so. I will try and keep on that. I think the same would apply to any change of parking restriction and signage relating to Windy Hill.
Well, we need,
With one factoid, I think you can email pvengineering@portolavalley.net.
Oh, thank you.
And I
Uh,
think that will take care of all the ambiguities,
That's
because that'll
rather
be the
than
one who will answer your questions.
PV engineering at, okay.
Yeah,
That's easier than trying to remember one individual's email address, which may or may not be
exactly.
active, yes. Thank you, Mary, that's helpful. I will do that. I'll take the action to follow up. I think that concludes public works updates. I'll bring up both of our 2 items that I have listed there, which is the crosswalk upgrades and parking restriction changes on Portola Road. Moving on to our subsection 6, which is ongoing committee business. I think item A is our update from town and committee with regarding the letters of support and next steps for Highway 35 Skyline Boulevard privately funded safety improvements. Angela, do you have anything further to comment on that?
no, did you send in the letter? What happened to the letter?
What has happened to the letter? It was submitted to town. I think that's as far as it.
Did we send in
went.
ours from the bike committee separately?
I have not done that.
So,
So,
I
yeah.
think we should do that. I think we should send in the letter from the bike committee and see what happens.
And
Um,
sign it by the members. I agree with that.
Okay. I do still have the draft. So that's easily repurposed. And send that directly to Mr. Selker.
Yeah, send it directly to him and PV engineer. I think we have to get PV engineer to
Yep.
sign it.
Okay. All
And,
right.
and Mary, maybe you would like to sign a letter. I don't know if we
Send it-
need a vote of the council, for you to sign it. May do that.
Well, we have a letter that was submitted through by the council already, so
Yeah.
if you want to do
Oh,
that,
well,
we'll have
if the
it.
council's already done it, that's so fine.
Thinks-
No, we don't
Do
know
that?
if they signed it.
Well, it was
don't think
submitted,
we
but I don't know if
signed
it
it.
has not been approved yet. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Do we know, is there any indication as to when that might take place? Bearing in mind, there's nothing else happening in town.
Yeah, no. I will try and ascertain whether it's on the roll forward or not.
Thank you.
But I think we can send ours off anyway.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already agreed that. I
Yeah.
think at least at the last meeting,
Yeah.
we discussed at the meeting prior.
Repetition
So
is a hallmark of genius.
I'm very good at repetition. All right. Genius, I'm not so sure.
So,
That's-
so we approved that at next meeting, or can we do
We've
that before?
approved it. Do we need
Wh-
physical signatures or can our names just be put on the list? That's the question. I don't think we need physical handwritten
sure.
signatures.
No,
I don't know, with agreement of each party named on the letter, I think.
You just
that's
put a list of the
sufficient.
members at the bottom. I think that's all you do and just send it in to him.
And it was already approved. by
Yes,
the
it's already
members, so-
approved.
Yes,
So
we
I-
did. That should be minuted. I think. So,
Yeah, yeah, you should just send it in. I think that would be
That was in
fine.
the September meeting,
Yeah.
Yeah.
August meeting.
Was it August? Yeah, I think it's September or August. I know we've covered it at least once.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it should be just sent in to Ted. So you have his email? Do you have his email?
Yes, I do.
I have it. So just send him it and I think that's our job done.
No, I apologize for not having done that sooner, but there've been a lot of other distractions as you might be
We all
aware.
have distractions, I'm sure.
Item B is pertaining to the Hawthorns property and the application to open that up as open space by Mid-Peninsula. There was a meeting on October 21st of the ad hoc committee, which I attended. A lot further discussion of the access and parking preferences or otherwise for the site were made. And still looking at a preference for parking option 9 rather than 10, which would avoid changing the Alpine and Portola intersection into a four-way intersection. And then also we discussed the possibility of introducing changes to the site in a staged manner so that perhaps the open space aspects and trails open first, and that parking may be opened at a later date or maybe in a staged fashion, with plans for a few spaces at the beginning and expanding that, at a later date if it's deemed necessary. So Mid-Peninsula did seem open to introducing very many of the site changes in a staged fashion, and that included approaches to parking. I think the question over which option is going to form part of their planning application is still very much open.
Thank you.
Caroline.
What's troubling is that we heard at that meeting, I was not at this meeting, but at all other Mid-Pen meetings, is that they really put the town in charge for making any mitigation on traffic, on when it comes to Alpine Road. So we have talked already about the road changes, what we do with a left turn. Can we demand that it's only, well, that there has to be a center lane?
Yeah, we need to have that, something in our plan, but I actually like the idea of opening the trails and not having any parking, that might just be a good solution to see how that goes.
And I think that's a possible path forward, the way, given my reading of the discussion on 21st of October.
Yeah.
And I think that perhaps makes some of the swallowing of the cost to Mid-Pen easier too, because either of the parking options, 9 or 10, which are the front runners, both include an enormous amount of landscaping and paving work, which is probably the bulk of the most expensive operations
Yeah.
that they would see on developing that site. And I pointed out that, option 10 would probably have bigger cost implications to the town based on the fact that it would definitely force layout and intersection design changes for us. That I'm very unlikely in the view that the Mid-Peninsula will be willing to swallow those costs as part of their development. That would be, I think, a pretty unusual situation.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
a non-profit organization to fund changes to town infrastructure. I don't know how that would work. If there's any precedent for it, something I'm not aware of. Okay, a lot of our items on the ongoing committee business are standing items, so let me know if there is no update. With our local roadway safety plan relating to the
Yes.
CCAG initiative, I know, Angela, you were looking at this pretty
I
hard.
was, and so there's a CCAG committee that wrote a town plan for Portola Valley, which Howard, our previous public works director, didn't approve, and we never saw, okay, and so we couldn't approve. And I asked to get it, and I was told I couldn't have it because I wasn't town staff. And I would still like to see it. Meanwhile, I have looked through various other town plans, and I think we're in a good position to be able to get one out by the end of February. I think we could write it ourselves by the end of February and get it approved. But can't do it before then. But I don't think, we've got a lot of the Switters data that under Tim's project at Berkeley. That's what they put in the plan. We do need to have some planning and some public input on things like, do we need a turn lane at the Priory? Do we need roundabouts? Do we need turn lanes for Mid-Peninsula? What are we going to do about Stanford's traffic? We need to go through all those things ourselves as a subcommittee that Pat and I are on. And then we need to put those in a plan. And we definitely need a town plan to be able to get some grants, but tends to be Metropolitan Transport TC, I think it's MTC. Yeah, don't know what it stands for.
MTC,
Yeah, what's it stand
Metropolitan
for?
Transport Commission.
Commission, yeah. So that those grants that we are not eligible for basically at the moment.
And I don't know if you saw, but Congresswoman Eshu, she helped Atherton with the roundabout on Alameda de las Pulgas,
Oh, yes.
big
That's-
grants. So that's why I've been saying, why is town council not using representatives to help us in the process?
There are grants.
I also wanted to confirm that I reached out to Menlo Park and have been in touch with Catherine Maki. So she was very helpful in giving us a list of links and some organizations that help them getting the improvements that they have now. So
Oh, great.
Oh, that's a good development. Thank you.
but so perhaps if it's okay with you, I will forward it.
For our
Absolutely.
planning.
That-
That'd
that
be
we can
great to
help.
put in our plan, to have a list
Yeah.
of all the
Share
places
that.
where we could get grants, because there are actually quite a lot,
Yes.
more than I think.
And then we found out, which comes later on the safe routes to school. So I also wanted to say, Woodside has not responded, but I have a contact, so I will follow up again. But his name is Eshon.
But Woodside does have a local road-based safety plan. and it
Well,
has
that's
to-
why
it
I
does,
wanted
yes.
to know how they got it.
Oh,
And you
they're
have-
all, a lot of them are done by the same consulting firm. They say at the bottom which consulting firm they've used.
Oh,
Yeah, so, yeah, I can give you the
Okay.
stuff on that, yeah.
okay.
but we don't need a consulting firm, you know, we've got enough people in Portola Valley who've been consultants, and we need some facts. We do need facts to fill things in, and we do need public input. But
But I think perhaps the Woodside document template will be helpful as a template.
yes, because they've avoided some of the things that Caltrans say you must have, because they say we're a rural place and we want to do this, and we've got horses and we've got to do this.
So
And
that,
so that's, it's a very useful plan.
Thank you.
and then on San Mateo County Education Department. So part of the grant applications, so I contacted them again and they confirmed again what the process is, but some of them have to go through the school because it's only the principals who get the letters or the application. But then there's another grant that went to town staff here. I
Yes.
believe it was in August, and the application was due for November. So
And I think Samtrans is going to have money to give out too. So, yeah, there's money. If it's good for safe routes to school, there's no question that there's money.
Oh, thank you. Pat, I'm afraid can't speak for herself. She's not here, but do you think this is best continued under the existing subcommittee?
Yeah, I think we can get, yeah, I think so.
If both you and Pat were here, I would do my best to offer you a reprieve and see if we wanted to restructure, but if you are willing to continue that,
Okay.
I think that's
I,
probably.
no, I think it's okay. I mean, I've just had a lot on, and I'm going to have a lot on until the end of the year. But I think in January, we can work on a draft, and I think we need to schedule a meeting at the town centre to look at plans for traffic. But I think we can't do that till February.
Okay, so
I
that,
think-
that
I
should
think-
be on our radar, and we can work.
I think if we could do it, I think if we could do a public meeting on February in the evening, maybe it's our February bike committee.
Have an extraordinary meeting.
Yes,
Do it
where we
that
have
way.
pictures of our intersections and we have ideas, and we can bring in Paul Kupka if we like. But no, we'll see. I mean, whoever. Is Paul Kupka still on retainer?
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, we,
Another question for the town engineer, perhaps.
yeah,
He would know.
yeah.
I think that's a good layout, and I think we should stick.
I just wondering, what about why the February date?
Because that's the nearest time I can get anything done.
Okay. Good. But we can already start.
We can already
Yeah.
start looking, and I can tell, you, if you look at the CCAG bike committee video, you'll see a presentation. And I think the presentation was from Samtrans.
I think it would be good if perhaps that would allow enough time to have an outline or a draft plan to share at that public meeting, so that there's some more substantive.
I'll try and get it done by the January bike committee. If we have I don't know if we have a January meeting. Sometimes we miss that because it's New Year, but
Often do. I'd have to look at the calendar to see where that falls.
yeah, but by the February meeting, I think we should have a draft out that we can look at. And yes, Samtrans, there's going to be more money for buses. And the question is whether we're going to want a school bus to mitigate our traffic. You know, there used to be one that went around Westridge, and the bus
I think
schedules have all changed.
Uh,
And we can give feedback to Samtrans, which I don't think anyone's doing. If we want a better school bus service. Because it's not just the school and the school bus. I'm not sure how it's financed at the moment, the bus that comes up from Menlo Atherton and that goes up to Grandview. You know, those are the regular Samtrans buses. But I think there's going to be more money for buses.
Well, I like that layout of timing and planning. So
Yeah.
I'll try and add something into the agenda to reflect that continuation of that process.
Yes.
You know, under this heading, which will remain as 6C for the most part. And nothing further on that, but I do appreciate and thank you, Caroline, for your work behind the scenes to find more information and
And maybe I'll ask the town engineer to get a copy of this plan to see what was written in it, because we definitely need a copy, you know. If we've had people write a plan for the town,
It's different than the one that we saw in February last year.
oh, yeah, that we need two different plans, yes. Yeah, we need two different plans.
No,
But-
but I mean the CCAC report that we got in February and that we discussed in the
Oh, yeah,
BPTS.
totally different.
There's a different plan.
Oh, there's a whole, yes, totally different, yeah. The report that they gave us then was their findings, and some of those findings would go into the plan, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, so a lot of that presentation is in fact what should be in the plan, but we can take that and put it in the plan ourselves, you know. It's public data, I mean, there's nothing,
There's no other.
but that wasn't a plan, that was a presentation.
Okay.
Okay, we,
Yes, that's right.
and it is, and indeed, that is some of the content that it should be in the plan.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what makes it easy for us to write the plan, because we can take some of that data and we can put it in. And so that's true. But we have not seen a completed plan that has been written for us.
And there is a plan written.
Yes, it was written for us. Yes. And it was sent to town staff, but was not shared with us.
It would be good to track that down and have a chance to review that here.
What was the organization?
It was
CCAG?
CCAG came, yeah, I can give you the contacts, Mary.
But it came from CCAG.
Yeah,
and-
but they had a special committee that was going around all the towns to make sure that they had a plan, and the county has a plan. And in the county plan, each town has a chapter in this plan, okay? Portola Valley is the one town that is missing, okay? Because our plan because we didn't have a plan, they decided that some of the little towns are incapable of writing plans, so they would write one for us because we don't have the resources to write the plan. That way, the county can have this plan with a chapter for each town and say, this is the county plan for traffic improvements, okay? And so we're the only town without a plan.
Yeah, I would.
And
put-
it's not a difficult plan to write. All we have to do, this is not the long distance, long range 30-year plan, which would be good to have. You know, that's a different thing, a strategic plan. This is a sort of tactical plan to get grants. And I can give the contacts. I've emailed the people. But
Yeah, I still have a list of the people involved in that came to us to present from CCAG.
yes, but it's above, it's above them. The guy who wrote the final thing, he was, I think he put the stop on it when he found I wasn't town staff.
It may be easy to go back to them and ask for it again and request it to us rather than to town staff, if that's possible.
I did, that's what I did.
Oh, you did, I beg
Oh,
your
no,
pardon.
that's what I did. I asked it to be sent to us.
To us.
Yes,
Well, repeat the request, I think.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll let me call Sean Charpentier. He doesn't pronounce his name Charpentier, but that's what it is. Sean is the executive director of CCAG, I think.
Yeah,
Oh, great,
no,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I think I will.
And he
put-
was quite willing to send us a link to it. But then whoever wrote the plan said, no, we can't send it.
I can ask Sean.
Ask, yeah, if you ask Sean for it and say we would like it, that would be good.
That would be.
But Mary, I'll copy you on the emails that I had first,
That would be great.
because I went back and forth with this.
I think we could make a case that, we were attempting to assist town staff who are,
No, I've made all that. And I told Sean that in Portola Valley, things are different. We have volunteers who do some of the work done by town staff. And I've explained that. But people find it absolutely incredible that we don't have a staff. Some towns have planners on staff to write traffic plans.
Mhm.
And they just find it incredible that we don't have these people, but they don't understand we should have always called ourselves the village of Portola Valley. We should never have called ourselves the town of Portola Valley.
Good point.
Thank you, Angela. I think one
Maybe
more
I'll propose that to the town council that we
be an
change,
opportunity. yes.
change our name.
Well, since they're working on a charter, that's, you never know.
Well, I like Hamlet.
Hamlet?
Hamlet.
Hamlet, yeah. More seriously, I would like to point out that back when we began this discussion, there were plans to have a public meeting run by CCAG, which we only found out about at last minute. And then CCAG presented to us in February with a high pressure timeline to get a
That's
roadway
right.
safety plan completed,
Yeah.
which we really didn't have much of an opportunity to get that done in the time, and with what was apparently required. At
And
that
so they
stage of the
wrote it
game.
for us.
That's correct.
Yes, that's right. And I actually did go to the public meeting that they had in the Woodside Library and gave my input there, okay, because we didn't have one here.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, they'd arranged with the library to have one and town staff stopped it. And it was a fear, I think, that we were being controlled by the county, but it doesn't work like that. It's that you have to have these plans to have the checklist on a grant. It says, do you have a plan? And if you don't have a plan, you can't get the grant. It's that simple.
Yeah. Right. I think if there's any further deliberation on that, but I think let's carry on
No,
forward with.
let's see if we can get a draft plan out by February and a public meeting to
meeting
look
to-
at the draft plan, and we'll send it to PV Forum or something. And then we'll see, it'll take March and April maybe before we get it through the town council. And then CCAG could have their chapter of the plan by April, and they're probably on the next year's plan by then.
I will add that to our virtual timetable.
Yes, that
and,
can be our
uh,
timetable.
Reflect that in our ongoing business. That's the best way to keep track. I think it's a good way to have these as placeholders. So,
Yeah.
item 6D would be is our Safe Routes to School Subcommittee update. I know that's you, Caroline. Do you have anything to say this time around?
Same thing. I have the due dates now, so we will put that also in the timeline because we can talk to our schools, but we passed that now. Now I know when to approach them and hopefully,
And just for our clarification, that will be due dates for what?
the next due date is in August. No, I'm sorry. I have to look at that.
I beg your pardon, what is the milestone for that due date? What is the output required, or what is?
They sent out an application to the schools. And I have to look up the
Right.
dates again
So it's to complete
to
an
see if
application.
they're interested, because there's a variety of programs that they provide. It's education, it's simulation of a possible roundabout. They can do that.
Hmm, okay.
So they also walk the safe routes to school. That's another opportunity. But you have to, the application cannot be sent from the town. Then there's another grant or program, and that is being sent to the town staff. And I believe that was August. So we missed that also
Right.
because we were not informed. So
But-
like Angela said, if we present a timeline with all the programs and when the due dates are, and then we fill it in as we learn more. about
Oh,
new
no,
programs
absolutely.
and
I'm just trying to,
groups. And we send it to the engineer and town council.
help everyone understand that there's due dates for applications to participate in a safe route supported program of some kind, and they say there are many different tiers of that
Mhm.
that are available if we choose to, if we can get the collective choice to participate in it.
Right.
All right, thank you very much. Christy, I see you have a hand up. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I wanted to let you know that on your agenda, it is not a live link. So we are having for all meetings now to copy the link, type in the password and to get in. And it should be a live link that has the password in it, so we easily can get into meetings. I just wanted to let you know that.
I got it this morning. I just clicked it on the website and got the agenda on my phone immediately.
It didn't work for me on my computer, as usual.
Well,
Does it
maybe
have-
you need a password for your computer. I mean, maybe it's a computer problem.
Well, I have to write down the password and type it in now. And I have to copy and paste the entire thing. So I just want to make sure we're posting things that are live. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy.
Could it be that you sign in Google accounts and that automatically? Because the town works with Google.
Okay, so thank you. That's our safe routes update. Item 6E is our continued review of Alpine Inn and Golden Oak parking and concerns. I think that situation is pretty much the same. It's now that Alpine has reopened and
I saw
Looks to
3
be busy
cars on
again.
Golden Oak, just once, one Saturday night, I think.
Me too. But then after that, they put the signs back up and.
That's right.
That was at one time.
Yeah.
My concern was that I saw people parked in that exit, which is adjacent to, the
The
soccer
field.
field.
Yeah.
yeah,
have
I
an
have
atten-
observed that being blocked as
Yeah,
well.
so, and it's not easy to park. I should make a U-turn and then go back, park where the bus stop is and then take a picture and send it as a concern, but, and then send it to the.
Yeah.
You know, it's
commissioners.
very important if there's a car fire that people escape on foot and not by car, because there'll be a car. We were told at the San Mateo gym, right, that if there's a thing, you're better escaping on foot because you can probably get far enough away from the cars, but a car will have a queue to get out.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, and we were told to do that at the gym, if there's an emergency, and we're told to get out, we should go out on foot and not in the cars, because cars will queue up and it'll be very slow to get out.
So one point I think we should clarify is that I know that the rocks have been moved from that corner of the lot to facilitate the access point, but I don't know if it's recognized or it's certainly not active. It's you'd have to bump over a curb on Alpine Road and
I know,
Um,
but there's always an attendant for Alpine parking, so, I can try to reach out to the manager again
mhm.
and get his phone number, and then we take a picture, we send it and say,
Yep.
that is dangerous.
Fire exits are normally marked on gates, right? It normally says fire exit.
They didn't want to do it.
Well, I think maybe we recommend that they do it. I mean, houses, and I don't know what the code is, for example, if for getting a permit, whether you have to have,
But it's
Fire-
town's land.
but, yeah, but the town can still have a code, it can still say that. I mean, I know when you have, for example, communications towers and things like that, you have to be able to get out.
That's another item that we sent to the PV engineer.
Yep, I think so. Look at how that gets formalized and if any further changes need to be made. Howard described it as a curb cut on Alpine Road that would allow unimpeded vehicle access through that route.
I mean, like Portola Valley Ranch has fire exits marked around it, and I think
There's one on Los Trancos and one further on Alpine.
yeah,
isn't
I
there?
think it just needs a sign that says this is a fire exit.
Do not block.
Yep,
Uh,
do not block.
Yep.
I agree. I think it should be a fire exit sign, and I don't think we should allow parking on our land without proper lease. We are looking for revenue, and that is revenue sitting there. And I think they shouldn't be filling it as full because we own it for the soccer field. We need 30 parking places for the soccer field. Recreation has asked for that, and I don't understand why we're being delayed on our own land to use our own.
Well, the fact is soccer games aren't going on all the time, and they're certainly not going on at night when the Alpine is open. So there are times when it would, be okay for them to, I don't know what their agreement is versus their taxes and the lease, but.
Well, I
it's-
think it's $10,000 a year. It's way below market value, and we need to recover that, especially with our finances. And I believe for safety, when that parking lot is full, no one will get out if there is a disaster. So if we can limit the people that we might lose, I think the fire exit sign is appropriate and reducing the parking is appropriate.
Well, there is a book by Shoup called The High Cost of Free Parking. And apparently, if you charge for parking, people turn over quicker. So you get more visitors to the inn. So maybe we should put meters in.
Oh, that's a revenue. I like it.
No, I mean, read The High Cost of Free Parking. It's the classic book on pricing for parking.
Well, we're not recouping our cost for land value.
Most people don't actually. Most
But
municipalities
we're
do
giving
not.
money away. They are getting money from us. They're actually making money on us. And we're giving it away. And we are in a deficit.
Metered parking.
Okay.
So do we send a letter to Park and Rec? I mean, I've attended those meetings and Karen is on it. The chair, Patty Doos. It's always on the agenda, but then they don't talk about it because there's no updates. So I don't know if this is because of the lack of town manager, or I thought they can make suggestions to the town.
I mean, yeah, well, Parks and Recs, I desire to have activity at that site is definitely impeded by demand or competition for that parking space.
Could
We
you
do
have a joint meeting with Parks and Rec over this? It seems like.
Well,
you
I'm just
similar-
wondering, is there some way to form a joint committees, subcommittee or some other way to grapple this problem with a little bit more purchase, which we don't have at the moment, trying to sort of peck away at it individually and piecemeal.
It seems to me that if you had a sign and, very often by the sides of streets, you see no parking between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. because we've got street sweeping. Okay. And I happen to be in San Francisco and I saw signs like that, no parking at certain times of day because of this. And you could have signs that say no parking at certain times of day because of Parks and Rec. And they could have their hours when they, because there's some hours when they don't play. Maybe it's just the middle of the afternoon or after school or something when they play, when it's light and until sunset or something, you could have something like that. And so it seems to me that the way you do it normally is to have parking signs with a timetable on it.
Yeah, the fields are used after school and on weekends. And for the little ones, I don't know. I've seen, like 2 and 3-year-olds using it. So it varies every 6 months as to usage of the field. And that would be a tough one, but it could be figured out. We deserve to have our recreation parking and our recreation field. And it's very difficult for those people that rent the field but have no parking. It's not right.
Well, I think what's needed is for Parks and Rec to come up with a timetable and say, we would like to reserve the parking at these hours. And, it may have to be an electronic sign that changes with the seasons, or it may, or, something where you slit in the letters, like you do for gas prices, they change the letters all the time. Maybe it can be a sign like that and say no parking at these times. And if Parks and Rec can say what times there's no parking, then I think one puts and asks, the town to have a sign there. That's,
Yeah,
or
we have a
sign.
land asset. We're not utilizing it for revenue. And then it causes what you're saying, a fire exit problem. And I think this committee is responsible for fire exit issues and safety for our town, bike, pedestrian, traffic, safety.
Well, as a starter, I can take an action to talk to Patty and see if there's something we can
Can we
approach.
put a subcommittee on this with a joint meeting?
Excuse me, Christy, I'm still making a comment. Thank you. I'll reach out to Patty and see if there's some joint committee desire to do this in a sort of a pincer movement between the two town bodies, and see if there is a better way to approach it with town staff and the council to look at the problem again. I think we have to start afresh and look at all the aspects: access, availability, and safety.
And the town can easily print out a schedule for a season, because you need to reserve the soccer field. So they know that
Yeah.
in advance. It's all a matter of
So the
printing it out. We can
typical
post it
times
if
for match schedules should be easy to translate into something for maintaining or preserving enough access and parking for the participants. Thank you. I'll take that action. One last standing item, which is item D. Oh, I beg your pardon, it was F, which is Alternative Transport Infrastructure Subcommittee. I know you were working on that with Pat, Angela.
Yeah,
I don't know. Do you have any?
it's so difficult because this is to do with your electronic bike coming out of the road and the e-bikes, and it's just such a fast moving target with scooters and all kinds of stuff, and the county thinking they want to do their own rules, and it should come in our long range plan, which is a different plan from the local plan. I honestly don't, I don't know what to say about some of these things that aren't safe, because on the one hand, it's up to the driver, how much does education work,
I think
I can tell people don't bike, on the trails, it says no biking. The signs are inadequate. Google tells them they can bike there. What can we do?
I received a very robust response from a mountain biker on the trails the other day. I can't go into that here for reasons of decency. So
Yeah, but I mean, without better signage and a long range plan, I don't think we can do anything about it. I almost think we should take this off the agenda for a little while, even though it's a big problem. I think, but we haven't had any accidents. I do think there are some other safety issues to do with alternative transportation, and that is to make sure that people are well lit and that they have appropriate clothing. My sister just posted on Facebook 2 pictures of a pedestrian, one in black clothes and one in very colored clothes, which were easy to see at night. It was sort of dark. You couldn't see the other person because they were at the side of a building that was black too, and they were wearing black and they were about to cross the road. We need to, I don't know how we tell people to put lights on their scooters, lights on their bikes. Fortunately, some e-bikes light up automatically, which is.
yeah, many of them do. But the difficulty becomes you've got yet another whole subgroup and subgroups of road users, and so the more fractured the type of user you have, the harder it is to try to reach each or every one
That's
of
right.
those people.
That's
So,
right.
or to determine what is the best advice to offer. But usually it's visibility, safety, and awareness of your surrounding.
And to some extent, you know, if you don't wear bright clothes or it's your fault if you get knocked off the bike in some, you know, you can't stop people putting themselves in danger.
No. My pet peeve is people riding with earbuds so they can't hear.
Oh, yeah, that's one of mine as well.
Well, last item on here will be item 6G, which was requests and suggestions for update to our town website. Now, I did hear from Diego that he could take care of those items for us. Thank you all for sending your notes on that. I need to go back and troll my emails to find out what those were and actually get this ball rolling, because I do submit that I've not made any progress on it, and I apologize for that. In between,
Wanted to send them again?
if you are willing, that would be very grateful. Thank you. In between dealing with Hawthorns and deliberations on, special meetings for Stanford Wedge and those things, my town time has been rather busy this last month, so.
Now, at this point, is it interesting to the committee to post the individual traffic reports from the individual projects? Like Woodside had a traffic report, Stanford included a traffic report. The Hawthorns have their own consultants. I don't know.
Should those be on our website and the bike committee?
Yes,
Maybe.
if it's
Really?
just a,
Or is it, or does it go under Public Works? Should the Public Works part of the website?
I mean, some of it will be planning, some of it will be public works.
It's a good idea to have all those places
Yeah.
in one place. All
I
those
think
things in one place.
perhaps we,
well, they used to have them, you know, it
Mm.
was projects approved, they have that site. It's not complete.
well, there's an argument that if BPTS has an involvement or a purview on those items, then, perhaps if we have a matrix of projects and other things, they could just be included there, and it's just a matter of having another link referring you back to the planning page or
Yes.
public works.
Especially because we're asking for a cumulative, what the cumulative impact is of all these individual projects. Because every project, every consultant has said it will be like less than significant. What is less than significant? You know,
No, those wordings are troubling because I think they don't tell the whole picture.
and all of them are from 2019.
Yes.
That was prior to COVID, so there's no updated cumulative impact report.
Okay, thank you. We'll continue to work on that. Our subsection 7 is discussion of events.
Hi,
and
sorry, Ed.
new- Oh,
Yeah,
I beg your pardon.
please
Yeah, go
ask-
ahead. I didn't see. I have too many places to look. Rita, go ahead, please.
Okay, I just want to mention that the traffic guy for the Hawthorne project, he was making assumptions about the bicycle group, the noon ride people, and making some public assumptions of that group. But it was clear that he had not reached out and spoken to any of them, any of those groups. And I suggested that he, reach out himself or get someone in the community to help him reach and speak directly to some of those groups so that they can have the proper traffic information about the bicycle community. I don't know if this committee can help that traffic person with this, because he does not seem to have any type of relationships, and he has not reached out to anyone in the bicycle community that I know of. So perhaps this committee can reach out to him to help him connect with the noon ride people.
Thank you. That's a good point. And I beg your pardon, Rita, your audio is a little distorted. You're referring to the consultant for the Hawthorns project?
Correct. And I'm sorry about we have infrastructure issues in our beautiful town, and I'm on my cell phone. So
No,
hopefully that will be corrected sometime in my lifetime. But yes, for the consultant, the traffic consultant from the Hawthorns project.
I think that firm was Paragon. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right.
But they don't want to take any responsibility. They just say this is the responsibility of the town.
Well,
All we can,
they-
all we can do is come along with something to, suggest, offer of help and
yeah, he needs
extend,
to,
extend the olive branch and see if it gets taken in further.
so Ed, if you know someone or Angela know someone, part of the noon ride, I know people, but you may know somebody that might be a little more vocal and willing to connect with him, because I don't know if he has the resources and the connections to connect with someone. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm out of the loop on that. So if you are able to help, that would be appreciated. Thank you, Rita. Christy, I think do you still have a comment? And then I'm going to try and wrap things up.
Yes, I liked the previous speaker's comment on not having just individual traffic reports per project, but maybe this committee needs to request an overall cumulative, every road, every arterial be studied for the future, since we know we have a lot coming, and not just the RENA numbers coming, 305. We have Hawthorne's coming, turning over every hour of 50 parking places and possible overflow. So I think I would like to see this committee gather all the traffic reports that are available in the last, say, 8 years and put them in one place and attach them to an agenda to get the residents caught up on what's been studied
That's our local streets plan.
and what has not been studied. I was asking at the last meeting if Flock was used to gather numbers for the Stanford Wedge traffic study, and that's our latest cars going by. And with bikes, there is, Hawthorne's was able to grab statistics on bikes through the apps that are used by the bikers, and that needs to be used for all projects going forward as well, because they were asked to add bike traffic as well as car traffic, and I think that hasn't been done cumulatively for each project. So if we don't get on top of the cumulative projects all together and do it overall, maybe a nexus study on traffic, it's not going to be complete, and we're being piecemeal, and therefore the residents in the future, new residents and old, will suffer the consequences, not be able to get out from the arterials, which I already have a problem on the corner of Golden Oak and Alpine. And I think it's this group's request to get on a list, even though we may not have finances for it, but to get it on a priority list with the town council.
That's what the plans are all about.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Christy.
I think we should refer to our previous agenda. I mean, at this agenda, but it was at 8:34. I don't know if Christy was able to hear us, but we're working on that.
Yeah.
We're presenting a CCAT, a cumulative plan in February. That's what we're working on.
Yeah, there was a question that Christy brought up, which was, do we have flock data? Is that on the county? It's where they read the license plates. Is that right? Do we have access to that data? And do we have access from our cart to the data that's on that? Does it count the number of cars coming by? Do we have that number?
Well, our general plan is supposed to work with other municipalities to be successful in our own town.
Yes, that's right. That's right, Christy. We are short of plans. We are well aware of that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Item 7 would be discussion of events and new event ideas. And I think major thing there will be preparing ourselves for a more public meeting,
A public input on our
public
plan
input meeting for,
in February. That's what we expect.
there'll be a public consultation on the local roadway safety plan.
Yeah.
I think with that, if there are no further matters arising, no additional hands up, I will declare the meeting adjourned. Our next meeting will be 4th of December.
Great.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody.